FPL game week 22 transfer targets. After 8 days with no FPL, we've got 2 deadlines in the space of 4 days. So in today's video, we'll be going through my Vert verified power ranking, my top 5 for the next 5, as well as a wildcard draft. So if you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that like button and hit that subscribe. Let's get into it. What's up, it's FPL Vert, where arrows go green, and in today's video we'll be going through the Vert verified power ranking, the top 5 for the next 5, as well as the wildcard draft. But I thought I'd get started with just some injury news, just in case you still own GW22 or maybe missed the news. Unfortunately, he suffered an ACL injury in the FA Cup third round fixture against Manchester United, and his season is likely over. So if you still own GW22, you definitely need to sell him, but we can go through the forwards that you can get instead of him later in the video. So into the goalkeepers first, and Matt Sells just continues to turn out points even when they don't keep a clean sheet, because of course he keeps incredible saves. I'm not sure if you watched the Nottingham Forest vs Liverpool game, but he was eye-catching once again. But in terms of the power ranking, of course I would rank him at number 1. Of course Nottingham Forest don't have the best fixtures coming up, but I think he's performed at a level where you can expect him to continue to return. So yeah, he's number 1 in the ranking, and obviously I've put 4 goalkeepers ahead of my favourite goalkeeper if I was buying now. But as you can see in game week 24, there is a double game week. So I think when you have Ipswich at home and Wolves at home either side of a double game week, I would actually rank Alisson as my number 1, just to go for the Liverpool triple up, because we don't really have much clarity on, you know, is Gakpo going to really start every game? Is he even returning at a level where you expect him to be worth having in the team? I don't think so. But the rest of the goalkeepers doing pretty well. So in isolation, yeah, this is my ranking, with Dubravka obviously number 2 as well, but Pope can come back in at any time. Henderson did keep a clean sheet, which is good for him actually. But other than that, I'm not too sure I'd pick anyone else other than Alisson. So into the defenders, and we do have Lewis Hall still at number 1. He kept a clean sheet. He was actually on for some bonus, but then Dubravka did come and ruin that after he had to make a few saves against Wolves. But I still think he's great value at 4.9 million. Of course, Bournemouth, Southampton, Fulham at home in the next 3. Pretty good fixtures, and of course he's so cheap you can rotate him. But we do in number 2 have Mark Gay with a pretty incredible finish. It's quite funny that everyone keeps targeting Munoz, but as I said in game week 1 actually, when it was between Pedro Porro and Munoz doesn't really strike me as someone that can actually finish his chances. Obviously he gets into great positions and it's exciting on the stat sheet, but when you look on, you know, actual football pitch, Mark Gay can actually finish pretty well. Like, the goal against Leicester was pretty incredible, and of course he's got 5 more bonus than Munoz as well now. So of course Palace have great fixtures, which is why people were interested in Munoz, but personally I'd just go for Mark Gay, and I think even in the off chance that Crystal Palace do keep a clean sheet, he's obviously better than Foponis anyway, even if he didn't have an attacking return. So that's where I would go. Gabriel as well, as you can see there's an asterisk on it because Tottenham did score, and of course he did get a yellow, but he also did kind of technically, in my opinion, assist the own goal. Opta apparently have it down as a pass, which is why it's not been given, but it could be updated before the end of the game week tonight. But yeah, I'd obviously Gabriel, as you already know, is amazing from set pieces, so definitely go and get him. Aston Villa's not the best fixture, but it doesn't really, he's pretty much fixture proof. Ola Aina is the same as Matt Sells. They're just, you know, doing very well in terms of clean sheets, but he still is quite expensive, so this is more of a slot for Nottingham Forest defender, so I'd probably actually go for Milinkovic. But as mentioned with Alisson, Trent has Ipswich and Wolves either side of a double game week, so you just need to own Trent, in my opinion. We all know what he's made of. He can get a 15-point haul out of anywhere, and you can get attacking returns to any game as well. Into the midfielders, and just for the 3rd time this season, Mohamed Salah actually blanked, which is pretty not surprising because obviously I didn't captain him. But when you actually look at the chances that he had, and actually the underlying stats as well, of course he had 0.47 xg as well as 0.34 expected assists, so he had 0.81 expected goal involvement against Nottingham Forest, and he still blanked. So yeah, he blanked, but he's still, of course, the number one midfielder. And as mentioned with Alisson and Trent, you can probably tell that's my favourite triple up for Liverpool's double. Of course, in gameweek 24, you can see that they have a double with Bournemouth and Everton. It's not the best. I will probably have to play my triple captain on him just because I think I will use my assistant manager chip in either game week 31 or 36, whichever double is bigger or is more appetizing. So we'll look into that in a chip strategy video later. But of course, we have Palmer number 2 because he's quietly gotten 3 double-digit returns in his last 4 games. And of course, Chelsea didn't actually win any of those games. So he's performing even when Chelsea aren't performing. And I think there should be a lot more attention on him to rival Salah for captaincy, especially this week. I think Wolves at home versus Brentford is pretty close. Of course, Foden did just haul at Brentford, and obviously Salah's been performing at a much higher level than Foden all season. So I guess you could say we should captain. Well, anyway, we can talk about that in my team selection. But Foden is number 3 because he hauled at Brentford for the 2nd year running. And also for the 2nd year running, I didn't own him despite selling. If you saw my team selection, I sold Foden for Gordon this week. So I lost 6 points on that. But it's okay. Last year, he scored a hat-trick when I didn't own him, and his effective ownership was much higher, so it was a lot more painful. But yeah, I think when you have Ipswich next, he is marginally ahead of Gordon in terms of the ranking. But as you can see by the fixtures, they're facing Chelsea, Arsenal, Newcastle and Liverpool all in the next 5. So that's kind of another reason why I sold Foden a little bit prematurely, you could say. Of course, Gordon has Bournemouth at home, which is not the easiest fixture, but it's a lot better than it used to be, I guess, with the injuries that they're racking up. And then they have Southampton, which is obviously the best fixture in the league at the moment. And then we have Eze number 5, just because I kind of made a mistake with Sarr, I believe. Even though they both got 6 points, I think Eze just got a lot more routes to points. He's obviously on the set pieces, and he's just a better player, really. He can score from anywhere. Sarr can't do that. So in terms of Palace's fixtures, I'll go for Eze. And into the forwards, and I'm not even sure how many weeks he's been top, but Alexander Isak is still number 1. Of course, he got a double, and he could have actually went for a hat-trick, but his selfless nature allowed him to set up Anthony Gordon, which, as a new Gordon owner and someone who just sold Foden as well, very grateful for. So thank you very much, Isak. And he's got Bournemouth at home next, as well as Southampton. And to be honest, it doesn't really matter who he's going to be playing because he's now scored in 8 Premier League games in a row. Could be chasing down the record. The record is at 11. So if he gets to game week 25, having scored against Bournemouth, Southampton and Fulham, that could potentially be a record-breaking moment in the Premier League. So if you don't own Isak, go get him. Then into Wood, of course, I brought him in 2 game weeks ago, and I was pretty bullish on playing him against Liverpool because Liverpool haven't been keeping clean sheets despite being an Alisson owner. I know that very well. So yeah, I think Southampton is obviously the perfect entry point if you don't own him already. One thing to mention, I will be selling him in game week 25 for Wissa. So obviously he's down there at number 5, but the Wissa's fixtures up until 25 are not the best, and I probably will go for Gordon in game week 24 for probably go for Mbeumo instead of Gordon for 24 as well. So I will have a Brentford double up by game week 25 in my opinion, but we'll talk about that later. As mentioned with Eze and also Gehi, Palace have got great fixtures. Mateta's data is not the best, and he's not a sharpshooter like Wood is either, but I think I would still go for him just because of the price. And of course Watkins has now scored in back-to-back games, which is great for him. Of course Arsenal away is not the best fixture, but of course he did score last season to throw a dagger in all of Arsenal's title hopes. But of course the fixtures after that are great, with West Ham, Wolves and Ipswich in the next 4 as well. So if I was making a wildcard fresh in game week, ahead of game week 22, this is what it would look like. I would have Alisson, Trent and Salah as the the triple up for their double. Of course you can go for Diaz and Gakpo and Van Dijk, but Van Dijk's not really getting many goal creating opportunities. Diaz and Gakpo are not, they're not solid for starts, and in a double you need people that are going to start, right? So that's my favourite triple up, and this triple up I have personally as well. We have Gabriel and Hall as well. Hall, Gordon and Isak is a triple up because Newcastle are in great form and they've got great fixtures, especially with Southampton the week after. As mentioned with Palace, they've got great fixtures coming up as well, so we've got triple up with them, with Eze and Mateta. I think West Ham, yes, Potter is showing a bit more compactness, but they did also concede 2 goals. albeit from very lucky situations. But I still think Palace surprised me, if I'm honest. I thought they'd at least concede against Leicester yesterday, and they didn't. They won pretty not comfortably. Leicester probably did have the more chances, but Palace they are that resilient team. And of course the rest of the team picks itself, with Salah and Palmer and Wood. I am not set on captaincy at all. This is going to be a really, really close one. I think on the fixture it has to be Palmer, but I did also see what Salah did yesterday, on Tuesday, and he could have easily hauled, very easy, like the Newcastle game. So this one's going to take a lot more thought. So this is the wildcard team for now. I will see you tomorrow for the team selection. So if you have any questions about your teams or any transfer questions, just drop it in the comments. Of course, I do a Vert verified power ranking to make it a bit more concise. But yeah, there's obviously other players that you can get as well. So any questions, drop in the comments, or follow me on Twitter and Instagram and DM me, or you can just reply to a tweet and I will reply to you. And I'll see you tomorrow. So thanks. See you very soon.